Happy late July. I hope you're enjoying the weather. Today, I'm going to talk about what we know about schools reopening or not this fall and the implications for the economy, the childcare industry, our clients, and you, our staff. As I record this, it doesn't look like many of the school districts serving large parts of the population will open for in-person instruction. I have lots and lots of concerns about this, but don't really see the alternatives at this point. So there are about 1.2 million kids in Washington between birth and 12 years old, the typical age when kids need childcare. About 61% of those kids are in households where all the adults work. This is over 700,000 kids potentially needing care. We license only about 187,000 childcare slots, and 46,000 of those are currently closed due to the pandemic. There are going to be a whole lot of kids needing care, and it won't be possible to make the system 5 times larger in the next month. In normal times, the cost model for childcare doesn't make sense. It costs more to provide safe care than almost all families can afford. The pandemic has driven costs higher for providers and reduced the income for many families, exacerbating the problem. For many of the families we worry about, even with the subsidy, it costs more than they make to get safe childcare. For many of our staff, the cost can be more than 15% of their salary. The childcare system isn't going to be able to serve another 500,000 kids. Our goal early in the pandemic was to preserve the existing provider base so that as many families as possible could get childcare and that there would still be a base of providers when the pandemic is over. We made a number of financial changes to stabilize payments to providers and relaxed many of the rules for families. We also made changes to expand capacity by making background checks simpler and allowing emergency licensing. The pandemic and having schools closed also affects the kids we worry about most in some very concerning ways. The number of reports of child abuse were down almost 50% during the month that schools are normally open. But we believe that the added stress has increased risk to children. And these events typically increase abuse. The economic effects will increase homelessness once the eviction moratorium is over, and we expect increasing economic effects over time. We're going to try and provide as many resources as possible to the families we worry about. We're looking into how to reserve childcare slots for foster families and those in our diversion programs, and working to make sure that we have consulting available for childcare providers on how to manage behaviors that are typical in kids who've experienced abuse and other trauma, but that are difficult to deal with if you haven't seen them before. We're checking in with youth in extended foster care to make sure that they have housing, food, and whatever else they need. We're just starting to look into how we can both make sure that our staff have access to childcare if they need it, and if we can flex our schedules to help folks deal with the crazy school schedules for their kids. This is a statewide multi-agency effort, so we don't control it completely. But we understand you've got to make sure your kids are safe before you can be effective at work. This is hard. Take care of yourself and your family. Eat your vegetables. Don't have large parties. Wash your hands. Wear your mask. Thank you for what you do. Stay safe.